you two. How are you today? Yes, it's science. It's our first science lesson for this term. It is Tuesday the 2nd of June 2020. And again, I hope you had a lovely half term. And guess what the topic will be for our science? No, Mrs. Lang is not just putting on hats just to be a little bit different. This is a clue to our science topic. Right, I'm sure you've guessed. Our science topic is going to be MasterChef. So we are going to be combining all the different skills that we've learned in science, and we're going to be using them to keep ourselves healthy and safe by making sure that we eat the right foods and we keep them safe. So you're going to have to remember all the different things that we've done throughout the year. Remember how we keep our bones safe, how we keep ourselves healthy, how we eat the right foods to give us the right sort of vitamins. That's what we should be looking at for this term. Again, this video is going to be slightly different. It's going to be a how to look at your files, because this will be the last video that you see of Mrs. Lang doing the science. So let's go through and see what you will have to do. Okay, guys, let's mini bob Mrs. Lang's head. There we are. And I'm going to show you what you will be receiving in the email. So if I just get through there, I click onto my files. So you will be getting a MasterChef zip. It may be that it won't email, so we might try sending it in lesson format if that's easier. If you prefer the lesson format, please let us know at year 2. So, right, what I'm going to do now is simply, with my zipped MasterChef file, I'm going to double click. 1, 2. There we are. I will get a zip box. It may be that you don't have the software for the zip files, but you can download these and they are free. And they're great because if you want to email anything that's a little bit too large, it makes it really, really small. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is extract these files. So Mrs. Lang is going to highlight all of them, and I simply click and hold my arrow button and press down the arrow button there. And I'm going to extract, and that's going to extract the file that I'm in. So if you've just downloaded it, it will extract all the files down to download. Okay, let's begin. There we are. There it is, extracting. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to close that box now. And now in my files, you can see all the different lessons that you have for this half term. And it's going to be fun because you are going to be cooking. Let's have a look at our first lesson. Okay, so if we looked at the title, it's called Staying Alive. So remember Mrs. Gren, she was talking about what we need or what animals need to stay alive. Think about that. If you can't remember, go back to the video. But important things that we need to stay alive is that we need to eat the right foods, so we have the right nutrition. Remember Mrs. Graham, nutrition was part of it. Yeah. We also need air and oxygen, or oxygen in the air, should I say. So we need these things to keep us healthy. But we also need to think about how we keep growing and what it takes to make sure that we grow healthy. So this is where Mrs. Lang looks at your lunch boxes, making sure that you've got a balanced diet so that you have a member of all the different food groups. Let's look at these food groups now. Right, so I'm going to look at this file here. Again, like humanities, all the information you'll need will be in your files. Okay, I'm going to move my little bobble head so that you can see the files. Brilliant. Okay, So if you have a look at the different food, it says classification. Remember, when we do our sorting activities, that's what classification is. It's just simply that we're sorting out our products into things that are similar. So, for example, we have dairy produce. So that will be milk, it could be cheese, it could be yogurt. So why do we need dairy? What does it provide for us? Well, usually it keeps our bones lovely and strong. And when you're growing up, you need strong bones. So usually it gives you a vitamin called vitamin C, which is very important, remember, for your bones and your teeth. So let's go down to see what else we need from our food groups. Let's go up. I think I missed one. Oh, no, I haven't. Vegetables. Now, vegetables. Right. Why do I always insist on vegetables? My children, it took them a while to eat vegetables, and I had to hide them in all different places so they didn't know in their foods. They thought mashed potato was green until they was about 4 years old and cottoned on. So, why do we need to eat our vegetables? Well, our vegetables provide us with an important vitamin, a vitamin A. Okay, so what does that do? Well, vitamin A is really, really good for your eyes, for your skin, and it also helps you rebuild your immune system. So it keeps you healthy, as it were. It keeps you, enables you to fight infections. Okay, so there's lots of sources here. We can see avocados, cauliflower, peppers. These can be fresh or frozen. I know lots of you at the moment are having frozen food because people are a little bit worried about contamination, and we'll look at contamination a little bit later on in this clip. So it does tell you what empty calories are. So pickled onions, they don't really give you that much nutrition, nor do potatoes, unfortunately. If you have squashes or red potatoes, that's quite different, or sweet potatoes, should I say. Right, let's look down. Also beans and pulses, that's a really good source of vitamins. We'll look at that a little bit later. So fruits. Fruits usually give us vitamin C, and that's a real good source of fibre. So that makes sure that when we remember our Mrs. Gren, when we have to go for a it makes sure that everything works brilliantly down there. It also helps, again, our immune system. So that just means it keeps us healthy. Right, let's have a look down. So we've got bread, cereals, or pasta. Really, we should be having brown breads or pasta. I know many of you, when you're young, you don't like that. But that would be the better source because it doesn't have any bleach in it. So why do we need those? Well, that gives us energy, so we can run about and laugh and happy, and we can do our exercises, and we're not sleepy. So that gives us a beautiful B vitamin, and that helps us with that energy. Okay, let's have a look now at meats, beans, and nuts. I know lots of people are vegetarians out there. If you are vegetarians, make sure you have good quality beans because that provides us with protein and that helps build our muscles strong. Again, it's really good for when you're growing. It makes sure that you're growing in the right way, but you don't need too much. You just need different portions. Nuts, be careful. I know lots of people are allergic to nuts, as in some fruits as well. So make sure as well, when you're thinking about food groups, you are thinking about allergies as well. Okay, right, so we've looked at the food groups, and that information is there for you that you can actually look at whenever you want. As to with this video, you can pause, look back, and think about what you need to do. So there is other information in different formats here, and that will help you. I have a poster here, and that will give you a hint of our activity. There we are. There's all the different food groups. And remember, we've had a look at this before. That tells you how much of each food that you should be having on your plate. That's really important. Can you see that the fruit and vegetables are the largest? I know that you've been doing fractions with Mrs. Shah. I wonder what the fractions are with that. It's almost a third, I think, a third of your plate. There we are. Okay, let's minimize that down and let's have a look at your activity. So your activity will be, let's have a look. Let's wait for the file to open. There we are. So for your activity for lesson 1 will be to describe the importance for humans of exercise, eating the right amounts of different types of food. Okay, so your success criteria, remember, if you're not feeling confident, have a look at the red. I know that you are feeling confident because you're my year 2s. So you're going to suggest some foods that keep you healthy. You can pick foods that make us suggest why they keep us healthy. So pick the foods out and suggest why they keep healthy. I can design a plate with a healthy, balanced diet and say why I choose the foods. Okay, so think about what I've just shown you. Think about the vitamins and what they do for us. You know, if you're feeling a bit poorly, sometimes you might want some more vitamin C to help with your immune system. So there is a video that you can watch. Remember, if you click onto it, let's click on it and enter. It should come up in my videos. Let's have a look. Oh, I've lost it now, Mrs. Lang. What have you done? Or you can copy and paste. So I'm going to copy and I'm going to put that in my browser. There we are. So this is a video that you can watch. And that's linked to our topic. I won't play the whole video there. I just wanted to show you how you get to it. So remember, I copied and I pasted there.
Okay, class, who would like to do problem 3 on the board?
Okay, so that will take you, you can skip the ads, and that will take you to your balanced diet video. Lots of fun. Okay, let's stop that there and we'll get on with our video. There we are, let's minimize it back. Okay, so the activity then is your healthy eating meal. So draw your pictures on your meal plate. Try and make sure you get it's got your proportions there. Think about different foods that you can have. So if you're thinking about vegetables, I don't want just one vegetable. Make sure you've got different types of vegetables, okay? Because they give you different things. Right, and again, if you're feeling confident, which I know you are, make sure that you say why you've chosen those foods. Okay, let's go. Let's minimize that. Don't save changes. Right, let's minimize that and we'll go to our next lesson. Okay, right, okay, let's see what else we've got in there. Okay, let's go back. So I'm going to go back to lesson 2, safety in the kitchen. Right, so this is thinking about how first we keep ourselves safe in the kitchen. Remember, there are lots of utensils in the kitchen which can harm us. Okay, so when we're thinking about chopping with knives and things, think about asking your adult. So if we have a look at, also we're thinking about cooking. Obviously, when you're using a cooker, it gets really, really hot and you've got to make sure that you're protected. So in this activity, let's have a look at our activity. There is a video with our lesson here. You can click onto video, that will take you. I have got a chef's hat there, but we're going to look at that in our art on Friday a little bit more, so I can help you with that. Right, let's see what our activity will be for that lesson. Sorry about the computer being a bit slow. Let's have a look. So, this lesson is talking about, remember, germs. Okay, thinking about germs and making sure that they don't get onto different foods. Okay, we call that cross-contamination. That simply means if you haven't washed your hands and you've got germs, you might then touch a food and then you're putting your germs onto that. We have done this in a lesson earlier in science. When we're thinking of cross-contamination, it can be by two different foods as well. Certain foods will have a bacteria, which is another word for germs, but bacteria are different germs. Some are good and some are bad for you. But one particular, if you have raw meat and you have raw meat next to cooked meat, that's not good. Okay, so you have to think about where you put things in the fridge, or if you've put things in the cupboard, to see if they need to have temperature. So remember, when we were thinking about our plants growing, we were talking about them sometimes, well, all the time, needing the right temperature. And this is just like our food. To keep it safe, we need to keep it at the right temperature. Okay, so I have different slides there. Hygiene just means keeping things clean, okay? So to stop us from getting really poorly, and we call that food poisoning from our food. So I've mentioned cross-contamination, which is just basically the bacterial germs going from one food to another, and that can make us very sick. So let's have a look. Prevention. How do we prevent this? What do? We wash our hands. Yes, we've been doing so much of this at the moment with the particular germ that's lurking outside. So always make sure that you're washing your hands. What's safe? How do we know it's safe to wash our hands? How long? Remember, 2 happy birthdays. So happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Right, make sure you do 2 of those and wash really in between your fingers and underneath your fingernails. Right, keeping food that needs to be kept in the fridge. So if you have food, that is, if you go shopping and it's kept in the fridge, when you get home, you must put it in the fridge. If it's frozen, that's colder than the fresh food or the fridge food, they must be kept in the freezer. So with an adult, go through and have a look at that. Also, prevention, it looks at prevention here. Make sure that you clean all your surfaces. Make sure your chopping boards are very clean. And we're thinking about materials as well. So think about what material you could cover your food to protect your food. What would it have to be? It would have to be waterproof. It would have to be sealed quite shut so that none of this bacteria, the germs, can get inside of it. So make sure that you're thinking about keeping your food health and safe. Right, let's have a look to our next one. And again, it's more prevention. Make sure if you've got any leftovers that you don't keep them outside where they can get exposed to all that bacteria and all the germs. If we were in school, I would give you an experiment on how to see where the bacteria is. But if you leave a piece of bread to go mouldy, if you have a look at the green bit on that bread, that is actually bacteria. Okay, again, washing your hands. So with this, make sure an adult goes through it with you. They can read the slides with you. Right, it says here as well, keep raw and cooked meats apart. So remember that. Think about making sure that that food doesn't cross contamination. Okay, I'm just going to make my head a little bit bigger. So what is that word? Cross-contamination. Cross-contamination. So remember that is when we transfer all those horrible germs or bacteria from one food to another. We need to make sure that doesn't happen. Okay, let's have a look now at the other information that is provided in lesson 2. So let me minimize my head. Let's minimize this. Okay, so there is a video, and you will be able to see that in this video, children talk about where they should put things.
We've got lots of food items on the table. We need to work out where are we going to put these different items. How are we going to sort them out?
Super science topic for year 2 is it's MasterChefs. In this role play topic.
Okay guys, I'm going to stop this there because you can look through this at your own time and we won't really have time. So I'm just going to close it down now. So there's a video to help you. There is storing food. There is another activity there where it's got storing food. Let's have a look. There's lots in lesson 2. So this simply asks you to put a container or what you would do to keep these foods from getting germs or bacteria. Think about it again. It has to be waterproof. It has to be sealed tight. Okay. Sometimes it may be that the food is a different shape to the boxes you have at home. So what could you use there? Think about your materials. There we are. Let's close that down. I do have a little activity. If you click onto that, you'll get onto another activity. So let's have a look. Sorry, it's a little bit slow, but this is a fun activity and you're going to be asked about utensils. Okay, so you're going to have to match the utensils there. It's still loading up, I'm afraid, so that may take a little while because Mrs. Lang has got lots of things open. So I'm going to let you have a go at that. It's a lovely interactive game that you'll have lots of fun with. Right, on to the next lesson. So let's have a look at lesson 3. Right, just a reminder, when you do these lessons, do them weekly, otherwise it may get too much for you. Okay, so there are some you can do straight away. You might want to look at the lessons all at once, but when you're doing the activities, do it weekly and it just breaks it out for you. And make sure that if you don't have an adult, please make sure you email year 2 and we can help you further. Okay, so, lesson 3 is fun. So lesson 3, it's making a pizza. Now, it would be really nice if you could make your own pizzas at home. I know that's not possible for some of you, but it's thinking about what ingredients you're going to be putting on your pizza. Make sure that it's healthy, and also think, when we put in the oven, the sort of changes that happen to our foods, especially one food group in particular that I know lots of you like on your pizza. If you can't cook that, you can draw and label your pizza. So Mrs. Lang has got you a pizza there. You can simply draw and label your pizza. Remember, email them in. Make sure you can video them if you're cooking them. You might even want to become a little master chef and do a bit of cooking and show us all how you're making them. So we look forward to seeing those. Let's run through. Okay, let's click all these down. Okay, so I also have a video for you to watch there, and it's with a school class and they're showing you what their pizzas look like. So have a look at that. Let's go back now to lesson 4. Lesson 4 is, again, making your own food. This is a salad activity. When we're thinking about salads, we don't often just have vegetables. We usually put something in it. Remember that word balanced diet. And remember when I was talking about the food groups, we only get certain things from our vegetables and fruits. So we need to balance it up. Maybe that you might want a glass of milk with it for some reason. Or if you're a vegetarian, you might want to put some beans into it. Or if you do eat meat, you might want to put some chicken. Think about balanced diet, making sure that you have all your 5 food groups on your plate. in the right amount. Okay, so again, I've got slightly different success criteria here because you can create and write pictures of your salad. So you can just draw a salad and then I want you to label what each of your vegetables are. You can make a short video. And I'd also make sure that you, if you're really feeling confident, make sure that you write what those vegetables might be good for or what foods you have on your salad that might be good for you. I've just gone through a little bit and given you hints to what you might want to do there. Let's close this down. Right, we are on to lesson 5. Okay, oh sorry, lesson 4. If we have a look at lesson 4 a little bit further, it's really important now that we think about where our food is coming from. So Mrs. Lang has included a PowerPoint presentation and it just shows you where our foods come from. Remember how our plants grow? Right, some of them need hotter weather. Remember that they need the right temperature. Some of them need hotter weather. So some of our foods will come from different places at different times of the year. So in winter, if you want some fruit, it may come from a hot country. We do recommend that you eat seasonal vegetables. That means you eat the vegetables that are growing in that particular month or time of year because they're usually really full of vitamins and usually what you need. Okay, so again, with an adult, go through this PowerPoint. It's a very simple PowerPoint. It just shows you all the things in the supermarket and it gives you an idea of how your potatoes grow. It also tells you about different carrots and different things and how they grow. So read that, that's really interesting. Okay, now on to lesson 5. Right, so lesson 5, it's all about you. So you're going to use all that information that you've processed through the last weeks and you're going to design your own picnic. Now, I'm hoping you two, there we are, that you design a really amazing picnic because I might just try your suggestions and make your picnic and show you. So make sure you email your suggestions in and hopefully I'll get a chance to make the picnics myself and eat a lovely picnic from you. Okay, on with our next topic. So if we look at our lesson 6, lesson 6 is all about activities. So Mrs. Lang has got a zipped up recipe chart. So there's lots of different recipes, there's lots of different activities. So choose 1 or 2 and then email them in to us at Year 2. There's a recipe for making lemonade. You might actually want to use some of these recipes for your picnic ideas. So it might be an idea to have a look at this lesson before you create your picnic. So again, they're all being emailed to you, so it's your choice on which you look at first. But it might be an idea to have a look at this. That'll give you ideas to put onto your pizza or in your salad or create your picnic. Right, okay, the last lesson. Okay, so the last lesson you have an assessment and I'm hoping I will be back in time for that last lesson. So the last lesson is an assessment. I would suggest that you do this at the end of your learning. Don't do it straight away with the assessment because if you do, it kind of spoils things for you. And also you won't know if you can really remember it. If you go through the lessons first and then do the assessment, it puts it tightly in your head. And it means when you go up through the years, it will still be there. Brilliant. Right, so last science lesson for the year, I'm afraid, but hopefully it won't be the last science video. I need you, Year 2, to email me all your beautiful suggestions, and I'm hoping that I will create one last video because you have done such an amazing job in science. I have seen you grow things. I have seen you do so many different nature hunts. You have shown me pictures. You have shown me so many things. And I think it'd be a really good idea if you could show me all your lovely videos or your pictures of cooking things, and I will have a big science fiesta video at the end where I can show and display all the amazing ideas that I know you will come up with. Year 2, it's been a pleasure to do science with you. Keep it up. Hope to see you soon. Make sure you're safe. Any problems, make sure you email us at Year 2. It's been brilliant. It's been fun, and I hope you've enjoyed it. See you soon, Year 2.